Um, so I kind of wanted to just sit down and talk about some things because I have gone through a lot recently, and I just feel like I need to share kind of what God's been doing in case it might encourage you. I don't know. And this is it's really good timing because all this stuff, it's like that's just why God is just so good, because all this stuff happened and I'm going to New York, and you'll kind of understand like why that's good timing. But the reason I brought New York up is because if you want to be on my newsletter list, but you haven't given me your email, or you thought you did but you didn't get the September one, then email me your email address, or DM me your email address, and then I'll put you on the email list. And then yeah, I'm a little bit stuffy still, sorry, because I'm recovering from being sick. But okay, so recently I kind of, well, let me back up. Okay, so whenever I experienced a call to missions, which I didn't even know you could get a call to missions, because my life has just been a little crazy, and I just became a Christian. If you don't know, I just became a Christian a couple years ago when I was like 23 or 24, and so I don't really have a traditional belief system. Like, I believe the Bible, and like obviously I'm a Jesus follower and stuff, but I just didn't really know too much about missions. Just that was like foreign to me. So when I was in New York, I experienced a call to missions, and it just I won't get into that now, but it just was something, you know, is surreal, and you just really experience God in that type of situation. And so when I knew that he wanted me to move to New York to help plant a church or work with a church plant and all that, literally he just worked out everything. He just continued to affirm everything, and I never doubted it. Well, recently I kind of went through a little period of time, a little season of doubt, and I wrote just kind of how I was feeling a little bit in a Facebook post, because there's a song by Passion, it's called Bigger Than I Thought. I think that's what it's called. And it's just so good. It really described kind of what I was feeling like with me and God. But anyway, I just think it was, I got very overwhelmed and very busy, and then I got really sick, and I hadn't been sick in like 5 years, and I just don't do well with being sick. But like, sorry, I'm chewing gum too, but a lot of stuff happened, and I don't even know if I told anybody in my family or any of my friends. I don't really know if I told them. I know that they know I was stressed, but I don't really think I explained what was going on. But basically, I was kind of just in a situation where I was just not doubting that God had called me, but just doubting like the whole situation, and like questioning like, how's this gonna work out? And I just don't really see how you can do it. Like, obviously God can do anything, because he's just done some crazy things in my life, so I don't know why I doubt him and why I go through these seasons. But I think a lot of it is the enemy planting lies too. But anyway, one day, I think it was my dad, and he asked me, you know, do you still think that New York is the right thing? And I was like, yeah, of course it is. But that kind of made me start really thinking and praying and being like, you know, I still need to seek God in this, because I'm very confused right now. And so I had a lot of heart-to-hearts with God, and a lot of tears, and just, I don't know, I just think that I had to really get to the point where I could acknowledge how scared I was of this new step, because I'm so pumped about it and so excited, but just not having any control and not knowing the outcome, and having to completely rely on God for providing the support and all this stuff. It's very, very nerve-wracking for me, because I'm a planner and I'm a perfectionist and I'm OCD, and I like to have things laid out, you know. And so I had to just get to the point where I surrendered to God, and I'm just like, okay, God, like, if this is really what you want, I just need you to show me that, and just, you know, I need to experience your presence and see you working on my behalf, because like, if you call me into that, and I'm supposed to obey you and rely on you and follow you, then you're going to provide, you know. And I really hope that this all makes sense, because I'm kind of all over the place. But basically, I just had all this whole struggle with God, and ended up continual surrender. You have to do that, but I just felt like I was at a place where I needed to like really fully surrender and take my hands off the situation. And so that was just like, it's vulnerable, and it's just kind of like, you do all this stuff every day, like you talk to God, you read his word, and you try your best to obey him, but sometimes you just have to pour out your heart to him and get on your hands and your knees and just be like, okay, God, like I need you to do this for me, like I can't do this, like if you're doing this, you have to carry me. I'm just like the vessel, like it's not me, it's you that's doing the work. And anyway, it just blows my mind, because my friend's mom, who's I guess she supports missions, like that's one of her things. Well, she had felt like God wanted her to support me, and I had never specifically asked her for any support or anything. I just kind of told her what God was doing and like what I was gonna go be a part of. And anyway, she hands me a check, and it's just for an amount that I would not expect an individual person to give me. And I was just like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, I feel like, it's nothing compared to what you need, like, for your living expenses to go out there, but it's just something. And she felt like God led her to do that, and just her willingness and her generosity and that obedience, it made me just want to cry, just seeing like, okay, God was like, here, I'm showing you right now, like I've got this, I've got you, and what I'm calling you into, like I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna provide, and no matter what you're doing. And I was like, okay, like, wow, God, you really showed me. And then there was a day after, a lady approached me, a very sweet lady, and she said God had been putting me on her heart, and she was just gonna obey him. So she hands me a check, and I'm like, I mean, you have to understand like the specific things I was praying for, and like how God, I don't know, my relationship with him, and just what I had prayed for, to know like this, how specific these prayers were that I prayed, and how he answered them, and just showing me how intimate and personal he is, and that he comes down, like he is such a big God, but he comes down to our level, and he's like, don't worry, like I'm showing you that I'm for you, and what I'm leading you into, like you don't need to worry, you just have to take each day and follow me and obey me and be willing, and I've got the rest. And this kind of like what I was putting in my Facebook post, that I've just been realizing lately how messed up and broken I am, and how I don't know how to do any of this, and I'm just doing my best, and I feel like that's not good enough, like I'm not qualified to do this thing, and just all these random thoughts. And basically I've just really experienced God encouraging me lately through people, and through certain things working out, and just his grace, that is, his grace is sufficient, it's not dependent on what I do or I don't do, it's just there, and he covers us in that. And every morning, like, I get to experience that, and greater is he that is in me than he who is in the world. Like, that is something I've been hearing that everywhere, and I feel like he's telling me, to like cling to that right now. And I have my Bible right here, but I want to read part of Psalm 37 because it stuck out to me, and I had written outside of the margin thing, cultivate faithfulness, because I feel like that's kind of what he's called me to do in this season, because I'm in a weird place, because where I am, where he's put me, I need to be all in, and I'm trying to be all in, but I'm also trying to prepare for where he's leading me, and I'm trying to balance everything, and handle all these emotions, and like everything that comes with this transition. And so I feel like I need to just remain faithful and consistent in following him and waiting on him. And he's going to act, and he's going to provide, and that's what it says right here. It says, trust in the Lord and do what is good, dwell in the land and live securely, take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit your ways to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act, making your righteousness shine like dawn, your justice like the noonday. Be silent before the Lord and wait expectantly for him. And I feel like, he has got me to this point. Like, my life is crazy. It's always been crazy, and I don't know, maybe like I just, even though I get very stressed, I feel like I do kind of thrive a little bit in like the busyness and the chaos, and bringing organization to that, because that's like my thing to do, and bring order. And like God created me like that. He's like that. He's a God of order. And anyway, I just feel like he has given me these desires, and those desires are of him. So at the end of the day, I just know that he's going to fulfill them, because they are to glorify him and to spread his name and his renown. And this was just like a lot, and I don't know if it makes sense, but I just felt like I needed to share it because I just think he's been so specific and just blowing my mind at what he's doing in the midst of my doubt and confusion and questioning, and now I'm going to New York, and I just know that, like, being back, like, when I'm there, I just know that I'm home, and I'm like, this is where God wants me, this is where I was made to be, at least for, you know, this time, or in the future when I move, like, in the spring, and, so I just feel like it's kind of like I was being tested. Like, I don't think I was being tested by God, you know. I think it's just life, and I think the enemy, and I just think a lot of things happening at the same time, and but that's my opportunity to either push God away, or to lean more into him and then experience him all the more. And I'm just thankful that he is persistent and he pursues me, and he loves me, and he's just kind, and I don't know, I just, you know, he brought me through that, and he showed himself to me in these crazy ways, and now I get to go and just see what he's doing in the church plant, and let them know what's going on in my life, and how he's working, and I know he's preparing me. Like, each thing that happens, he's gonna use it for himself, and like, that's kind of why I'm like, when he wants me to share something, and that's the thing, like, a lot of the times I've shared stuff like this, like videos or blogs or whatever, like, someone has reached out and been like, I needed that, this person I know, I sent that to them and they needed that. So I'm like, God doesn't put something on you, you know. If he does something, obviously it's to glorify him and to show himself, and so that's why I want to share that with other people. So anyway, if you made it this far, then you are a true friend. So I guess that is all for now.